Hello, everyone. This is Max at NDE here with the help desk and Jill. This is our monthly district advisor update meeting. Like usual, go ahead and put who you are, where you're from into the chat. We are recording this. We'll post this into the our Google site as well. Anyway, well, we made it through the fall, more or less, except for the people that are still working. So definitely thank you, everyone, for all the effort you put in working through the fall. I know that it's, things were still rough for some districts, but I think it definitely went better than last year, if you think back. So it's definitely improving. I really hope next year should be a lot smoother as well. In case anyone's wondering, we're not planning on major changes to Advisor next year, so we hope to have everything ready earlier on our end next year, which means the vendors should be able to be ready earlier as well. And hopefully all the vendors will be ready when we flip the switch next year for starting the 2021 school year, which we always say is supposed to happen August 1st. So. Anyway, some notes about the collection windows. So if you are looking at your 1920 report, you should now see that fall snapshot locked reporting window. So that's the data that was locked down on October 31st. Unless you have you put in a request to make data changes, then after you tell us that your data is all good in the live database, then Jill and I are working through those, and we take that data and bring it over to that lock snapshot. So that's the only time the lock snapshot data changes. We are hoping to finish everything by the 15th, this Friday. So definitely, if you are still working through your data and you've got an open late request, I assume probably someone from the help desk may have contacted you already, but it would really be helpful if we can get that data Friday, even before Friday if possible. We're hoping to pull the data and bring it to the state audit people on Monday, so.
Yeah, the state aid calculations, they've got to get started on those. They've already been pushed off a couple of weeks. So right now our plan is to pull that data on Monday the 18th for them. At that point, we would not be taking any more changes.
If you are having problems and you don't think you can get all the data on Friday, please let us know, put in a ticket or contact or respond to the ticket you already have open about your late request, and let us know so we can.
Max, this is Amy. Will you be pulling data again for those who did not have a late request, or you're just pulling those who had the request?
Oh, no, we're going to use whatever's in that locked snapshot for state aid.
Okay.
And so, like I said, that data will not change unless you have a late request that gets finalized.
Thank you.
So if you don't have a late request, what you see there is what you're going to get. At the same time, we're also processing that 1819 data. You districts do not see that final data yet. So we're still in processing those late requests from 1819 data as well. So once all the 1819 late requests or data change requests have been finalized and we've got all that data into basically, we have another snapshot called a follow-up snapshot, but you do not see those in the reports. What we're going to do then is take the data from the follow-up snapshot that was part of the follow-up collection and bring that over to the locked year-end snapshot data that was from the end of last year. And then at that point, then if you are looking at the year-end snapshot locked reports, that will essentially be the final version of your 1819 data. So once we get all those brought over and those reports have been updated, we'll make sure there's a bulletin announcement to let you know.
This is the last week for a bulletin email blast.
Oh, yeah. Well, do we
So
not
they
call the
need to
new
sign up.
Yeah, do we not call the new one a bulletin?
We do, but they need to sign up, register. It's not
How do we sign
Yeah.
up?
Oh, yeah, it is, but
So everyone who currently gets the bulletin email should have been signed up automatically for a new bulletin system, right?
but if they hadn't been getting it, they'll need to register.
Yeah, then going forward, there's a web page you can use to register for that bulletin. You don't have to, and anyone can register for it or register to only receive certain types of updates. Like if you're a non-public, you can only receive non-public updates.
Right.
But everyone on the call here has probably already been signed up to receive the new one, so.
Hopefully, yes.
I guess, well, some of the vendor folks, if you weren't getting those before, then you would be able to sign up now.
Where are the instructions for them to do that?
There was a bulletin item sent out in last week's bulletin.
That's not gonna help
But if
the
they don't
vendors.
get it. But it is out there on the NDE bulletin website.
Or,
So it is,
On the homepage, Indeed homepage.
yeah, if they go to the homepage, then click on NDE bulletins, I think it's the new bulletin out there now. Just scroll down.
ND bulletin,
There. Nope. Let's scroll down and what's the new, go to that page, the education.ne.gov bulletin, that one,
Okay.
yeah.
so,
This is what it's gonna look like.
if you want to get anyone else signed up to receive the bulletin, this is the page to come
And
to.
there's the link, bulletin details. That's where they go to
Yep.
get instructions for how to do this.
thank you.
One more email blast.
Yep. Good point. That, I forgot
So
about that.
that's, and then they'll get that announcement in their email.
All right. So like I said, in the old and the new system, either or, we will announce when the 1819 data reports have been updated to get your final numbers. And also, I assume Help Desk is following up on district admin sign-offs as needed as the late requests are being finished, so we will get all those signed off soon as well. Any questions about the late requests and the collection windows? If you want to say something, you can unmute yourself and speak up. All right. Advisor validation, now that we are done with the fall window, we will be spending some time working on the advisor validation website again, just to let you know what's coming. In the near future, we will be finishing the remaining reports and errors that were not fall stuff that we didn't turn on for 1920 yet. So it's just a few reports and maybe like 10 errors that we need to turn back on. So not too much, but we will be doing that soon. We'll also be starting another phase of development on the website. Definitely there's going to be more new error codes. We'll be announcing those as they get turned on.
Hey, Max, a quick question.
Sure.
With regards to the turning on of the errors, are you looking to do that next week after the windows for submitting late data are closed this Friday?
Oh, it wouldn't happen for a while yet, so.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Definitely at least past then.
Appreciate it.
We'll be making updates to the student lookup by ID. We want to add a lot of things there, especially program stuff to make sure we're displaying multiple programs correctly, displaying more discipline data. There's some more reports from NSSRS validation that haven't been put into the new system yet, so we'll be getting to those over the next few months. Post-school survey and post-grad activities, that's for your 18-19 graduates. The course history report, migrant roster review, the grades lookup will now be converted into a report with a bunch of filters. The NSC data download will now be a report. You may have noticed that we have some other data download reports now, the ACT and NSCAS downloads. Essentially, it's just a report that's extremely, just a simple grid so that you can export it to Excel and see all your data like as if it was a CSV file download.
Or you can export CSV.
Yeah, also that. And then also recreating that front page of the GCAT tool, which, if you remember, it showed you your original cohort count, the transfer in count, the out count, the current cohort count, and then outstanding errors. So we will be recreating that in the near future as well. Another thing coming up will be a CRDC report. So you're already submitting some data that is relevant to CRDC. We will have a report before the end of the year that will preview and show you what data we've collected that would be submitted to CRDC when the CRDC submission actually opens sometime in the next year. So that's just a little preview where advisor validation is going. Basically, hopefully after doing all this, we will have caught up to everything that was in NSSRS validation. Person ID, as some of you know, Person ID has gone live, went on Monday the 4th. I would say no major issues. We've had a few little fixes. We've, been working through some tickets, but basically it's up and running. If you have any tickets, any issues with Person ID, just send in a help desk ticket like you do for advisor, and we will be fixing them there. Generally, we try to only deploy once per day if we have fixes that need to go out. We've been doing them at noon, and we put up a little notice on the portal that we pull it down before we do that, so it only takes a few minutes. I know there's been some bugs with the legacy file format. I think we have almost all those fixed, or we might have one more to fix there. Then we'll definitely want to make sure everyone is testing the ability to import and export files from Person ID to your SIS, if your system uses files like that. So definitely let us know if you have problems with that. Sandy's talking about, is it going to speed up? We would like to speed it up. We have actually sped it up by like 50% since it came out. But yeah, I don't think we're running as fast as the former system, so it is on our list to look at. But yeah, the file processing, if you have big files, could take a while. But now if you're adding people, if you're adding a person online, that process is a lot faster than when we began. Yeah, just a reminder, and I've seen some tickets, some people haven't had this, you need new access codes in the NDE portal to get into the person ID. So if you haven't gotten that already, talk to your district administrator, get your code.
There are two different codes, one's district and one's district read-only. If you get in there and suddenly you don't have access to create any new IDs, you may have accidentally gotten the read-only code. You have to go back to your administrator and get the district code.
Instruction, upper right-hand corner.
Oh, yeah. In the person ID system, and if you look in the upper right, there is a link to the instructions. We also have those instructions posted out in the Advisor Resources website, where we used to have the unique ID instructions. Yeah, any questions about person ID? I don't know if everyone here's used it yet. That time of year where you may not be getting in there, but definitely go out of your way and try to give it a test if you can. All right. Pfizer vendor status updates. Nothing major now that the fall's over. TestWiz is still supposed to be going into testing soon for getting map assessment results to us. I know I've seen some tickets. They are pulling your roster data from Advisor now. EduPoint, I said I've had this on the list that they have some fixes remaining for year-end data like grades, so I'll follow up on that. GoEduStars, you know, it's got all, as far as I know, they're up to speed on everything 1920 related, but if you have any issues with the GoEduStar, you can contact them directly. Infinite Campus, like the main issues for the fall were fixed, but there's a few open issues that CIC is working on. Michelle or John, do you want to add anything to that?
Hi, Max. This is Michelle. No, we found a few other outstanding issues that weren't related to fall, so we're working on those, and we'll get those out as soon as they're done in development.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
JMC, no major updates. They've had some CRDC stuff they wanted to add as well. PowerSchool, and if you're on the PowerSchool Google group, you've seen this. Amy recommended just shutting off your publishing once you're done with the fall until the next update comes out, which is supposed to be the 21st.
Correct.
And also by then, we'll have finished all our late requests by then.
Right, and I think I just sent another email not too long ago or announcement on the Google group just talking about what's coming out in the update. We should see that EL come out in that redesignate or that EL change come out in December along with some other things. So I'll continue to keep people posted. If you do have any questions though, just let myself know.
Now,
We'll,
that does affect other districts, because we just need to know that if they come from a PowerSchool school and they've come to us, we are showing a double enrollment. So we're getting errors in Advisor. So we just
So is the double enrollment occurring on 10-1 or after 10-1?
after 10-1.
Okay, so that's something we have until June to fix.
Okay.
So what we're
So I-
focusing on now is we're just laying low so that the 10-1 data gets collected, it doesn't get changed, and it just goes up nice and safe to Power
So-
School. And then when we turn things back on, as long as that's not affecting your 10-1,
No.
then yeah, those are all things that'll get fixed.
Okay. Because like I said, if we know it's a Power school, then I guess I just leave it alone. So,
Yeah, or just let us know. It's something we can
Okay.
certainly turn back on. It's just a precaution that we're taking so that things don't, that secretary doesn't go in and backdate something and then all of a sudden,
Uh-huh.
some goofy things happen. So just a precaution. But yes, if we need to turn it back on, and Cheryl, I just sent you an email. So if we need to work
Okay, I'll
on
look.
Southern, yep, just let me know.
okay, thanks.
Yeah, definitely. Then we'll follow up on the English learner program issue in December. We'll definitely want those cleaned up before January when we pull the ELPA roster.
Yeah, and speaking of assessment rosters, we're gonna be putting out a new calendar soon. We've got the dates now for pulling rosters. Unfortunately, we were able to push the vendors as much as possible, but as late as we could push them was January 8th is the last date for updates. So, and we're starting to pull rosters on January 9th. I know a lot of you will be just back to school, but, that's kind of what we could get out of our vendors. So, like I said, we'll be putting out a new calendar with those updated assessment label dates. But basically, if you want them to be on the rosters, you need to have the changes in by January the 8th.
Sims, I haven't heard anything. Anna, if you want to add anything to that, let me know.
We don't. Oh, sorry. No, we don't have any updates. We've just been writing some validation reports to match back and trying to optimize some things that are running.
On SRS, all data should be publishing. I'm not aware if there's any open issues. Scott, do you want to add anything about that?
We're working specific cases with districts who are still having problems where they have validation error or something like that. But in general, everything is publishing and should be correct.
Okay. That's pretty much it. That's all I had to cover. We will have a meeting in December on the 11th. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? Go ahead and let us know.
Is there somebody from TestWiz on this call? Is it different for teachers to get into that this year?
It is, yes.
Is there instruction or is there, maybe I missed something, I bet I did.
I could send you some information, Cheryl, if you would like that.
That'd be great.
Okay,
And
sure.
I know other districts we also have a Google group for Infinite Campus, and there are several of us talking about TestWiz and what we tell our.
Right. Ditto. This is Power School. So I think we might have just lost Cheryl, but yes, the same thing. So one of the things that came out of our VST meeting last week is trying to put together some, I guess, overall training, cheat sheet, whatever. So on my list today is to try to get that small group together because we are getting a lot of questions about TestWiz, NWEA, files. What do they pull from Advisor versus what you upload? All those types of things.
I was specifically talking about the sign-in process there.
Right, and then
so
there's a
that's the part
sign-in
that I work
process
with.
to the cloud, which I had no clue about.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, Craig mentioned that. So yeah, I had until last week, I had no idea that was so that if you don't have set up to the cloud, you aren't going to be able to sign in, and that's a definite possibility for probably some teachers.
Right, and I'm not
Right.
sure, and I can't remember, do they create their own cloud username and password, or how do I get them up there, I guess? I'm kind of confused about that whole process.
There are a couple of sides to that. There's a a manager for the district, I believe, that provisions teacher access to TestWiz on that side, enables access for them. And then the sign-in process, those credentials are linked to a directory that the district chooses. So it could, in a lot of cases, there's a Google domain it's connected to. Other cases, there's an Active Directory that's connected to, and there are even some other possibilities. Those are the most common two, though. So usually,
So are the ESUs, are there people at each ESU who is aware of what needs to be done
Yes.
in this regards? Okay.
Okay.
We can talk about this a little bit in our next meeting, Scott. But yeah, we're getting lots of questions about this.
Yeah, and I guess as we're not a power school district, but we can
No.
talk to the ESU, because I've asked about that before and they don't.
No. This
they're
is a
not
global
real-
issue, Cheryl. This has nothing to do with what CIS you are.
Okay.
There's some side notes that come with that are in CIS involved. As you know, you can
Sure.
upload your roster, but
Right.
the way you do it in Infinite Campus is pretty similar to how we do it in Power School.
Right.
So there are just some general questions regardless of that people are just really lost. So,
Because the
let's-
rosters aren't they getting pulled from Advisor?
right. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, great.
For state reporting, but then you have, I think, don't you manually send up other rosters if you continue to test throughout the year, right? Just your local testing? Am I understanding that correctly?
They're getting pulled for the MAP assessment too throughout
Right.
the year.
Oh, they're doing it for everything. See, this is stuff that, yeah, yeah. So we're going to get a group of people together. Cheryl, if I can figure out who the ESU kind of contacts, go-to people are, then we'll kind of bring them in the conversation too.
Okay,
Yeah,
Well,
I'll keep you posted.
And I would,
Go ahead.
and for TestWiz, I mean, some of us are sending files,
Right.
so they're not coming from Advisor. So
Correct.
it kind of depends how your district got themselves
Exactly.
set up.
Yep, exactly. But I think I have some districts, they have no idea what they're doing. Are we sending the file? Is it virus? So that's just, that's
Yeah.
the problem. So you're absolutely right. You have two different choices, but there's just tons of confusion, and we have many levels of staff involved, from leadership down to teacher, that I just don't think everybody's getting the same message.
right. That'd be great, because I know that I'll be asked this question and how do they get logged in and all
Yep.
this, and I haven't a clue.
Yeah, and I didn't know till last week that involved going to the cloud. So
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Actually, I don't think they actually collect the state testing rosters through there, right? We still send that to the
Correct.
NHL. So
right,
then
the
that
ones for the
also is-
state. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's NDE will send that up. That happens in January. Yes.
Correct. But that's just it. People are confused. So, I mean, we just need to write some timelines. Craig enlightened me last week from Scotts Bluff and some things I didn't know. And so I'm just going to try to get the right people in the room. And we're either going to try to put a training video together or some documentation. So we're all working from the same page.
Okay, thank you. If you need any help,
Yes, Cheryl,
Yeah.
I will. Thank you. Appreciate that.
And Jill there said that the DAX got emails
Yep.
from NWA about the new
That was
login.
about the cloud. Okay. Okay. And is that, did they get that from Judy Clark? Does anybody know? Because I think she's working the assessment office now.
Oh, possibly.
Trudy Clark.
Trudy, sorry. Yes, Trudy. Was it her that sent that out?
She's in that school improvement? No, she's the new
Jeremy.
All right. So Jill, would you do me a favor? If that's an email you can forward to me, let me know.
I didn't get the
No,
email.
Jill Davis.
Oh, sorry.
Jill Davis. Sorry, Jill.
Judy
Wrong
Jill.
Jill Davis. If you can find the email, would you forward it to me? That would be helpful. Thank you.
And yeah, there isn't anyone actually from TestWiz that usually joins these calls, but I can get you a contact probably if
Okay.
needed.
Amy?
Yeah.
This is Christy Hayes from Ponca.
Oh, yeah.
And I just pulled up emails from October 9th because I was uploading manually and because our teachers wanted to start using it and they did
Right.
not have things fixed. Well, then on October 9th, I received that I didn't need to do that. I could shut that off, those things in Power School.
Right. We're
That
going
they
through.
were that they were flowing through. And so I shut ours off in Power School and everything has worked fine now.
Good.
But I had manually set up fields in Power School
Yep.
that's what they told us back in October. And
Well,
then
yeah,
we
you
got
had to
it
kind of do that because most people were doing a test within the first, with the new Reading Act, they were doing that test within the first 30 days.
Yes.
And we weren't up and running by then. So that, yeah. But
Yeah.
we do have some schools, just like Anna mentioned, that they just don't, you can opt out of pulling from Advisor for other stuff, not for state reporting, but for the other ones. So we do still have some that are pulling, sending the file. But I'm, again, trying to get clarification on what all our options are and stuff, but appreciate that feedback.
Mhm.
All right, anyone else?
Hi, this is Joyce from OPS. Is anyone else having food program errors for CEP students?
I'm
And
not sure if
CEP
there's
being
other
the community,
campuses.
right? You're talking about community
Yes.
placement. Yeah, eligibility. Thank you.
So,
I'm not, hold on. I'm not sure what other campus districts use that.
There are other ones.
South Sioux.
Up north, there's some. South Sioux uses it.
I thought.
okay, so we're getting a couple hundred errors almost for those students and trying to figure out if campus is sending the 4 or if it's being sent as for one place and not another. There's apparently a difference between the food program data and the demographics data.
Correct.
So
It's a separate element now, yeah.
What
Terry?
error are you talking about, Joyce?
Terry, are you on? Terry must not be able to unmute. It's in the EdFi, sorry, on the NDE portal. There's errors, I believe, under demographics. So I was just curious if anyone knew of this. It's a big issue for us. We will follow up with tickets, but just heads up.
But all I could offer you is what the Infinite Campus documentation says about CEP. I know it has some special logic for that one, but
And I have a ticket with Terry on that.
all right. Okay, then the email came from Stacy Weber from the assessment office. And thank you, Jill. Okay. All right, I think that is it. Let's see if anyone has anything else. I will talk to everyone again December 11th. Thanks for joining.
Have a happy holiday.
Thank you, Max.
Good Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.